Oh, welcome to another episode. It says that my name is David Castillo, and I don't know why, but it's okay. I'll have to fix that in a second. Uh, that's David. Apparently, I'm David today as well. So we'll just have two Davids. But I'm Charles, man, and welcome to another episode of the South Star Classroom. How you doing, man?
I was going to change your name for you, but looks like you got it. I don't know what happened there. I'm doing good.
Oh, don't worry about it.
We'll figure it out.
Well, I would just say this to the people. Yeah, I'm gonna just say to the people, you might see some technical difficulties today, but it's okay because we took us some big swings. We invested in a new platform, which I actually really like. But we get a chance to test drive it and run it out, but we will and we'll get there. Our compadre Omar is traveling today. He may end up popping in here. We told him not to worry about it. I didn't want him rushing and doing whatever from where he's at, man. But I think you and I got, there's a few things in the headlines. There's the midterm elections. And if you want, we can get into, kind of this Kyrie Irving stuff that's kind of been happening. But if we got some time for that, just because it's so in the zeitgeist right now. But why don't you lead us in the midterms? But before we do that, man, how you doing? How was your week?
That let's jump by really quickly. We and did like a weekend camp in a while up in a really beautiful, but it also really cold. So my gear, because we had good gear, but like 6 a.m. and like my feet bricks.
Got you. And and Dave with us, he's fine. There's just a slight delay kind of off and on. I think it's probably because of your AirPods or something. I don't know. Like I said, we'll get it figured out, man, and worked out.
Okay.
But I heard you say that it got cold up there, which is interesting because I'm in Chicago. It was 70 degrees yesterday. It's very weird. It's November. It will take a quick change. Actually, when I flew to LA, I don't know, last week or a week and a half ago or whenever, it was snowing when I left. So it's global warming is, I guess, is a very real thing. But I am enjoying beautiful fall weather here. And this is one of the things that I did miss when I wasn't living here in Chicago, was just like really having access to seasons, bro. Like clearly a delineation between fall and summer and winter. Our falls are beautiful. Everything turns golden and yellow and orange, and it's really nice. And so just been doing that. And our listeners are gonna go through this with us, which is okay. Tell me, are you hearing? Am I synced up okay, or are we still having issues on your end hearing me?
You're synced up great.
Okay, cool. Then it's you. You are the culprit, man. It is. We're gonna get you some wired headphones. Maybe we'll give it a try without the headphones.
You want to pull me backstage real quick, and I'll
yeah. Go ahead and do that, man. I'll just talk about what's kind of going on in the world right now. So, as David is changing his headphones and we get these technical issues kind of figured out, man, we are in the midst of midterm election season. Elections are next week. People are doing their final pushes, and people are, it's heating up. And I think that there has been, maybe some controversy around, I was pulling you in, but you can pull yourself in. I think there's just been some controversy around some of these campaigns and how they've been ran. I think people are nervous. I think that, and I say this as a Democrat, I think that Democrats are a little nervous, and I think for good reason. We sometimes we get kind of slaughtered in the midterms. And one of the things that I was saying that I think was controversial to some people, even though it's not controversial to me, was, as somebody who's worked in the Democratic Party, as somebody who's helped with elections, you still have to go out and win the election. You can't just be like, oh, well, the other side is crazy and this, that, and the third, and people should know. And people necessarily don't know. I mean, some may and some may not, but you can't take that for granted. You have to run your race. You have to go visit those places. Mos Def is one of my favorite rappers, and he has a song in this song called "Death of a Teenage Life." He said, "I'm from the block that the president did not campaign on." And one of those things that breeds is a sense of apathy and a sense of like, we don't believe you, we don't have faith in you. And then you can't, I don't know if you can really shame people into going out and voting. So it's going to be really interesting. I don't know how things are going to shake out, but I'll be watching with popcorn like everybody else. Now, this is the moment of truth. David is about to say something again, and we want to make sure that we can hear him. Go ahead, brother.
Is that better? How are we doing?
I don't want to get my hopes up yet, so keep going.
All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. It's just a little delay, but we can make you out. We can make it out. I just got to give you a second after you say something.
Great. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to talk for a good portion of the show, these upcoming midterms, which are happening, early voting by mail. So it's happening, and it's interesting you brought up the president didn't campaign on my block piece. Joe Biden is actually in count yesterday and today, and actually yesterday campaigning for a Democrat congressional seat. I believe is kind of like 50-50 right now, but it's all tied together. So to California, to campaigns, Democrats are worried, and so the individual that is running against the man that Biden came to camp is, they're campaigning heavily right now, and so I get the specific text messages because I live in this zone, and I got Stan Cap, right? He would be my congressman if elected. Text message from his campaign this morning. I'll read it to you. Stop sexing to young school children. Vote for Congress.
So wait, you went out a little bit. He said, "Stop what to young children?"
And gender education to young. Vote for Kaplan for Congress.
Wow. Well, I mean, like I said, that's wild. That's a little wild. I mean, but listen, man, I think, and you still are skipping a little bit. I'm glad I didn't get my hopes up, but it's okay. We just, people that's with us, just thug it out with us today. We'll be better next time. But, I think here's the thing. There's been so much fear. There's been so much, propaganda. There's been so much laying the tracks for this train to kind of go, whether it's like those parents or, and when I say parents, there's kind of been this swath of more conservative leaning white parents that have not been feeling some of the messaging or whatnot. I think that message is on code with what they've been doing as a national campaign. And we're going to see how it pays off. I think that cat, wasn't it the cat in VA that basically won off of that platform? And I think that people saw that, and we live in a copycat system. We live in a copycat country. And so I think people it's like when Jay-Z would have, a good album and he'd have a new flow, and then the next 5 albums you heard had the same flow in it. I think we're going to see that in a lot of politicians, especially if that person wins and other people win on that same method. This is just the beginning.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, initially it was about like CR, critical race theory. We've talked about that. Now they've moved on, and the messaging is in my text today. It's all about sex education, and and it's wild. And so this will have at the national level, both Senate and elections.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's one thing I'll say. I hope our fans really enjoy. Like y'all get to be a part of the show today because we're gonna work out the technical issues live. We're doing it live. What was that famous dude from Fox when he kind of lost it and said we're gonna just do it live. So when you get a chance, if you go out and check your settings on your audio, man, play with some of those settings real quick. It might have like some suppression, or you might be on if you set it to like high def sound or something like that, like you're a DJing or playing music, it might be, struggling or whatnot. And if you hear an echo or anything from me, let me know. But while he checks that out, man, here's what my message is to people. Here, I'm gonna just mute you while you do it, and then you let me know when you want to unmute yourself, and then you can come in and give it a try. But here's my message to people. My message to people is actually read the stuff that you voting on, right? Like go read it, make sure that, that you know what you were voting for. Like you're going to get those tracks, you're going to get those runners that's going to say, here's your slate, here's what you need to do. I mean, I would say using those as a guide isn't an issue, but putting all your trust and faith in them, I would not suggest you do that, especially in localized politics. So in a place like Oakland, where David and I both spent significant time and where I grew up at, it's not as much Democrat and Republican in Oakland. Most people are Democrats, but there are different cuts and slices, right? So for instance, if you just go down a Democratic track slate in the election next week, but you're somebody that also approves of charter schools or thinks that we should have that type of freedom, well, you might get a flyer, a track from the union, and they're going to have that completely out and say, this is what the Democrats support here. And that's not necessarily true. So I would say in your localized politics, read the things, Google stuff, spend some time on it, and if you're not comfortable voting on a certain thing, I'm gonna just say it. Like if there's an initiative you come by and you're working hard and you're trying and you're talking to people, but you still just don't understand it, I personally, this might be controversial, but I would recommend that you don't vote on that thing if you don't feel comfortable and you don't know what that thing is saying, because we have the way that these things are written, it can be really wild in how they're written, and it sounds like it's going to do one thing, but it actually does something else, or there's no accountability or whatnot. So that's what I would say, and that's what I would offer.
Down now.
Still skipping.
Wow.
It's okay. You know what we'll do?
Okay.
You and I will end the show early, right? What we'll do is, because and to our people that's here, send us some love, show some love, let us know that you're here. But we'll end the show early and we'll just troubleshoot and we'll mess around with it, because I really do like this platform. I really do like the Restream platform. They both, Restream and StreamYard, came out around the same time. StreamYard kind of has been winning those wars, apparently for obvious reasons, but I do think there's a lot of things over here in Restream that I like, and I want things to kind of feel different. I don't want it to look like every other show, and so we'll work that out. What's up, Bill? Bill is in the house. See, like we got this cool chat feature where it's kind of like a stream, and I ain't got to click nothing. I can set it where I do, but it just comes up on the side like we were on a Twitch stream, and somebody was playing video games or whatnot. But yeah, man. So, I would just say, why don't you give us any advice that you got for the midterms, or for people that's thinking about this stuff, and we'll get up out of here and we'll get this thing working.
All right. And let me try one more thing.
Okay, well, go ahead and try one more thing. Let me try to bring in our third, the other guy over here, the man, the myth, the legend, Omar. Now, Omar, we've been having some issues with the audio today because it's a new platform, but we troubleshooting it. We're gonna get it going. But you look good, man. How are you?
Oh, thanks, man. This is a nice to see you. I just got in from.
How'd that go?
Really well, man. So the Equitable Fund is a group that in a non-K7, we went out to host. He started, and these cats have brought dollars of investment for equitable funding charter schools, public schools, and Texas fund specifically for Texas schools. Cool as hell to kind of like, have those conversations and play a little bit of to what I'm feeling like I'm always is like Batman doing the justice work. Bruce Wayne for a bit.
Hey man, well you look good, man. Well, we're so like I said, we having these little audio issues, man. So we're gonna actually end early, but what we wanted to do is, since the audio is choppy. Thank you, Will. We're gonna work on it. We're about to end quickly, but we just wanted to give people, whatever little advice for the midterms, as we've been kind of, encouraging people to go vote and do what they need to do. What thoughts do you have? And Bill says you be handsome out here, brother. You know what I'm saying? But why don't you take us home, Omar? Give us that advice, and then we'll shut this down and get it working.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think it's funny and a quirky time, right? Not a lot of excitement about midterm election. The excitement is revolving elections, but midterm elections, y'all, and like I've got 3 bits of real. Sure, David's already shared this, and I'm sure Doc, you've already. Y'all know what referendums are, and I think a lot of you in other states, and referendums are essentially you as a voter vote on directly. This is a referendum, like we're getting as a result of the people voting directly as opposed to the legislature, right? And as people, I froze.
Yeah, man, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. But you know what? This is what we're gonna do. You told people about the referendum. I told people to not just vote, to make sure they know what they're voting about. Go out and reach out to some friends. And David opened us up with some really good advice as well. We're gonna end today's show early because we're gonna get this fixed. And here's a good thing: Restream and StreamYard, they both tend to be pretty responsive, especially if somebody is upset with their product. So, but the background is beautiful. I worked very hard to kind of put this stuff together, but maybe that's just taking up too much of it, man. But I will just say this: as we go into next week, it's good to see you, brothers. I'm glad that y'all are safe, man. I hope that y'all have a good weekend, man. And let's just say bye to the people, and to our fans, thank you for being here with us. I am very, very sorry about the quality, but we did it for you. We took a big swing, and we're gonna keep taking the big swing, and we're gonna get it going, man. That's David, that's Omar, I'm Charles, and we will see y'all next